Hey everyone, Attorney Davis Younts here. Listen, there's a lot going on in the news today, so I just wanted to take a minute to talk about a couple of things. Now, as you know, I do a weekly segment with One America News. Typically, it's on Wednesdays or Thursdays on the show Tipping Point with Kara McKinney. Now, one of the things we do in that show is talk about what's hitting the news. We talk about America's foreign policy, and I have the opportunity to use my training and military experience to talk about those events. One of the things we've seen in the news today, really throughout this week, is the escalation of the war in Ukraine. Now, as we think about what's happening there, we can certainly go to a position of fear, and we can talk about the fact that the Biden administration's reckless authorization of the use of U.S. missiles we're providing them, being launched into Russia is a provocation. We could talk about the danger of that. We could talk about the fact that Russia is a nuclear power, and we could have legitimate concerns about what's happening. I've been saying since this conflict started that it is difficult to understand what is the direct United States national interest in being involved in this conflict. The other concern I have with this conflict is who benefits. And as far as I can tell, the only people that have benefited from this conflict so far are defense contractors and the military-industrial complex. Now, all of that's background to what I want to say about the conflict as it moves forward. I think there's a solution to what's happening with this conflict, and I think it's a solution that could be implemented very quickly, but it takes the willpower of Congress. As you know, our Constitution makes it very clear that it is Congress, not the President of the United States, not the executive branch, that has the authority to declare war. Now, the United States has not properly declared war since 1941. That's right, since World War II, all of the ongoing conflicts that the United States has been involved with, Korea, Vietnam, wars in the Middle East, wars that I deployed in support of in Iraq and Afghanistan, those conflicts have not been a part of a declaration of war. But the Constitution requires that. What's worse, or what's more interesting, is that in 1973, Congress specifically passed a War Powers Resolution, a War Powers Act, stating that moving forward, in order to make sure the intent of the Constitution was clear, that it was Congress who had the authority to declare war and authorize the use of American forces in hostilities or in conflicts where the beginning of hostilities involving American armed forces was imminent. So I bring that up now to say I think that Congress should be acting immediately. Congress should be acting to stop any further funding of this conflict that's going to escalate it. We should not be providing billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, and we should not be forgiving loans to Ukraine. Also, I think it is highly irresponsible of the Biden administration to allow this conflict to be escalated and to provoke Russia into further escalation during this lame duck session before President-elect Trump enters the White House. We have already seen other nations reacting to President Trump's peace through strength policies. We have seen that other nations see a strength in him. Maybe it's an unpredictability, maybe it's strategy, but whatever it is, nations react to his strength and the forcefulness with which he engages in these negotiations. We do not have that from the current White House. We do not have that from the Biden administration. So my point in all of that is, why would we escalate this now? I think Congress should act immediately, but I would say the American people need to demand that President Biden stop escalating this conflict. He should be doing everything he can to encourage a ceasefire, to get these belligerents to stop until the new president comes in and has an opportunity to negotiate a meaningful peace settlement. That, to me, is the only responsible take on this. So listen, I would encourage all of you, if you don't, subscribe to One America News. It is a great network with some incredible voices that are giving an independent look on news. And please check out the show Tipping Point and watch for my weekly segment. Thanks for listening. Take care.